Hello and good afternoon, everyone. We're going to get started with our 45-minute beginner yoga here in just a moment. First, I'd like you to make sure that you've got a good cushioned surface to work on. If you haven't got a yoga mat, a good rug is fine. And preferably no socks or shoes. If your feet get cold, you can wear non-slip socks, preferably. And of course, we have comfortable clothing. You can still be in your jammies if you want. So we're going to come to a comfortable seated position to begin, and that is whatever is comfortable for you. So you might join me here in a lotus modification, or you might extend the legs straight out in front for a staff pose, or sit back onto the heels in a hero's pose where I just was. We're going to start by sitting up nice and tall. I'd like you to just give your shoulders a big roll up, back and down, and then really set those shoulder blades down and back as far as they'll go. The neck is long and the chin is tucked, and we're feeling very nice and straight and tall here. Let's take a deep breath in all the way down to the base of the spine, closing the eyes. And exhale completely, feeling the body supported by the floor and by the earth. Now just for a moment, bringing your attention to today's class, let's make ourselves that promise that we will not push too hard, that will honor any feelings of restriction, especially through the joints, that will maintain the lines of communication with the body, pushing forward when it's appropriate, holding back when it's appropriate, and of course offering ourselves that challenge in the meantime. Now let's take a deep breath in. Exhale and open the eyes. Good. So we're just going to start with a little forward fold here in our seated position. Fingertips can come to the floor in front of you, and we're going to sit up tall, lengthening the neck, and then exhale and tip forward from the hip, slowly walking the hands forward. Relax down over the legs. As you inhale, think of widening the back. As you exhale, ask the body to relax down, tucking the elbows in if you'd like to deepen the stretch. Make sure you're nice and even across the hips on the floor. Good. Relax the neck and let the head hang if you're able. Breathe deeply. Great. And now we're going to walk the hands over toward the right side, and I'd like you to feel that extension deepen in the left side body, lower back and hip. Left fingertips can crawl out toward that side wall if you'd like a little more. You might even feel that stretch come into the back of the left shoulder. Just make sure that your shoulders don't come up toward the ears in this position or any position. Good, nice deep breaths. And now we'll walk the hands back through neutral and over toward the left side. Relax down over the leg. Tuck the elbows in, relax the neck. Again, as you inhale, think of widening the back. As you exhale, relax down into the stretch. Good, and now we'll walk the hands back to center once again and relax right down the middle. Remember that you can straighten the legs out anytime if this becomes uncomfortable for you. Now we'll walk the hands back, and we're just going to lean back and bring our hands to the floor behind us. Fingertips can point in whatever direction is comfortable for you. Squeeze your shoulders down and back, tuck the elbows into the sides of the body toward the spine. Lengthen the neck, breathe in deep, and see if you can open up through the shoulders in front of the chest. And then we'll exhale and just drop the head back. Relax the neck. Breathe into that stretch. Check again that your shoulders are not coming up toward the ears or coming forward. We're squeezing them way down and back. Breathe. One more deep breath in. Exhale, and we'll walk forward, relaxing down one last time. Good. Excellent. Now let's sit up, and we're going to turn around and sit back into child's pose. So you can sit back onto the heels if you want to, or you can always come back to that staff pose if that's more comfortable for you. Just relax right down, reach the arms straight out in front, or you can rest the forehead on the forearms or the backs of the hands, or bring the arms down along the sides of the body if that's more comfortable for you. Breathe. You can rock from side to side across the hips to loosen them out if you like. And now you can walk the hands over toward the right side, making sure to stay even across both legs on the floor. And I want you to notice how this stretch is hitting in different areas than our last little side bend did. So we should be feeling that in the left rib cage, maybe down into the hip and the side body. You can crawl those left fingertips toward the side wall to deepen the stretch if you'd like. And check your shoulders are down away from the ears. Yeah, really good. And now we'll walk those hands back through neutral over toward the left side. So again, make sure you're even across both knees. One of our projector reflexes here is going to be to lean onto the side that we're turning toward, and we want to just make sure that we're shifting onto that other knee to find that good extension through the side body. It doesn't matter how far you get, just that you're feeling the stretch and it's comfortable for your joints. Good, nice deep breaths. Relax into the stretch as much as you're able. And then we'll walk back to center and come up into a table pose. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Good, and let's just loosen out those legs a bit with a little inversion in downward dog. Curl the toes under and lift the hips toward the sky. Gently press your heels toward the floor one at a time, or you can roll around on the balls of the feet. As you inhale, think of lengthening the arms. As you exhale, see if you can press your body more toward the legs and the heels closer to the floor. One more deep breath in. Exhale, knees to floor, sit back into child's pose. Good. And then we'll come back into table and we'll deepen our spinal twist. So bringing the right hand to the floor between the shoulder blades. Inhale the left elbow up toward the sky and then reach with the arm as you exhale. In this position, you might want to bring that top hand across the chest to the shoulder and reduce your twist if this is uncomfortable, especially for your lower back. I'd like you to make sure that you're even across both knees on the floor. Push your bottom hand down and see if you can bring that stretch into the middle and upper back. If you're ready to deepen the stretch, you can take that top arm and wrap it around behind the back, bracing it on the opposite hip. You can also just rest that top hand on the hip if that's more comfortable for your neck and shoulders. Good. One more deep breath in, and we're going to exhale and slide that left arm through, threading the needle now. So bring the elbow down under the shoulder, directly under the shoulder, or you can slide that arm further and bring the shoulder and the head all the way to the floor. If your head and shoulder do not comfortably rest on the floor, come up onto the elbow. So we don't want to be in between here, where we're just kind of halfway down, unless you're enjoying the stretch and supporting your body weight on that right hand. So just make sure you're not compromising your shoulder in any way. We're even across the knees on the floor, and when you're ready, if you'd like more, you can reach that right arm up toward the sky. And you can press it back behind you to deepen the stretch through the middle and upper back. So when we twist, we're looking to bring the stretch from the belly button to the crown of the head and stabilize our core muscles to help keep the lower back safe. One more deep breath in. Exhale the right hand to the floor and we'll press up. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and we'll release the back. Inhale, drop the belly button, lift the chest and crown of the head. Look up. Exhale, press the floor away, curve and round. And then we'll come back to neutral and let's come along to the other side. We're going to center that left hand between the shoulder blades on the floor. Inhale the right elbow up toward the sky. Exhale and reach through the fingertips. So remember too, the goal is not to get as deeply as we can into the pose. If you make that the goal, you might shift the hips and bend the spine to reach up higher, but we don't want that. We want nice and even across the knees. And our spine is feeling safe and the shoulders are staying down away from the ears. Your top hand can come to the hip or wrap around behind the back anytime. Again, as you inhale, widen the back. As you exhale, deepen the twist. Really good. Now let's inhale and reach that right arm up toward the sky. Exhale and slide it through underneath that left arm. Right elbow comes to the floor, or you can come all the way down to the shoulder. So remember, if you're somewhere in between, your left hand stays on the floor to support, because if we lift that left hand, now we have tension and contraction of those muscles of the neck and shoulder. which completely counteracts the purpose of increasing our flexibility and decreasing tension. So just notice where you can relax first. We're breathing deeply into that stretch. And if it's comfortable for you, you can reach that left arm up toward the sky. If your head and shoulder are resting on the floor, see how far down you can press the shoulder and how long you can make the neck. Relax the neck. Breathe. Remember that your top hand can come down to the hip or all the way back down to the floor anytime. One more deep breath in. Exhale the left hand to the floor and we'll press up and release the back. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Inhale, drop the belly button, lift the chest and crown of the head, look up. Exhale, press the floor away, curve and around. And come back to neutral. Now let's come up into our kneeling mountain pose. So lifting up onto our knees. If this is uncomfortable for you, feel free to grab a cushion to place underneath your knees for a little bit of extra padding. And we're going to shift to the left leg, step the right foot forward, press the hips toward the floor and bring the elbows to the front thigh. So here first, we're just looking for that nice gentle stretch through the front of that left hip and thigh. Tuck your tailbone. So here we have a tendency, not just in yoga, but throughout life, to relax our abdominal muscles and allow that pelvic tilt, which we don't want. So I want you to suck the belly button toward the spine, lace up the core, try and remove the arch from your lower back, and notice how much better that stretch gets in the front of that hip. Breathe. Good. Relax down into that stretch. And when you're ready, if you'd like more, curl the back toe under and lift the back knee up off the floor. Good. Widen the shoulders, push the elbows down onto that front knee. Good. Breathe deeply into the belly, and as you exhale, ask those muscles to relax just a little more. One more deep breath in. Exhale the back knee to the floor, hands come down to the inside of the front foot, and we'll come to our adductor stretch. So shifting to the back knee, lift the front toes up off the floor, turn them to the side, and shift forward onto that foot once again. So when you do this stretch on your own time, as I know you all will, make sure that you take the weight off of your front foot before adjusting the position, or else you can compromise your knee. So just an awareness piece for us here. And if you'd like, you can come all the way up onto the fingertips. And what this is going to do is allow your body weight to contribute more to your stretch. So I want you to prioritize your front knee, make sure it feels safe, and then we move around that to look for the stretch in the inside of the front thigh. Good, maybe also through that back leg. Now, if you'd like to deepen your stretch further, you can come with me and walk the hands forward, gently bending the elbows in toward the body. See if you can keep your elbows lined up with your wrists and shoulders, and always make sure that one elbow does not come closer to the floor than the other. So even if you can, we can always get closer on one side, because here I'm not increasing my stretch at all. It's when I bend both elbows and keep those shoulders aligned that it's going to deepen. Nice. Breathe. Relax as you exhale. You can shift from side to side in this pose if you want to, loosening out those thigh muscles. Good. And now let's walk the hands back under the shoulders, shift to the back knee, reposition that front foot straight forward, and we're going to step forward into forward fold. Relax down over the legs, relax the arms and neck, and just allow your body to hang. I encourage you to do this pose, just our standard forward fold, a few times throughout the day, as it's going to get some good fresh blood and oxygen to your brain, help you wake up a little bit, and it's also a great time to release neck and shoulder tension, because we don't relax our neck at all throughout the day. Good, now let's shift to the left foot, and we'll step that right foot straight back behind us. Top of the back foot and back knee come to the floor, and we'll bring the elbows to the front thigh. Press your hips down, tuck the tailbone, lace up the core, shoulders are wide. Good. Breathe deeply. Relax those hip muscles as much as you're able. And now if you'd like to deepen the stretch, you can curl the back toe under and gently lift that back knee up off the floor to straighten the leg. Press into the back heel. See if you can maybe bring that stretch a little bit into the calf and Achilles tendon too. And check also that your shoulders are not hiking up toward the ears. You want to keep them right down and back. Breathe, relax into the stretch. Great, one more deep breath in. And we'll exhale the back knee to the floor. Both hands come down now to the inside of the front foot. And we'll shift to the back knee, lift the front toes up off the floor, turn them to the side, and shift forward once again. Good. You can hold here for a moment, just allowing that stretch to settle in as you feel the muscles release their tension. And when you're ready, come up onto the fingertips. Good. Focus on really relaxing your hips. Good. Notice where else you can relax, maybe through the shoulders, maybe through the jaw. And again, you can feel free to walk around or rock around in your stretch. The one thing we don't want to do in our stretches is bounce, because that's going to increase our potential for injury. So just a nice lengthen on the inhale and then a deepen on the exhale. If you'd like, you can walk the hands forward and gently bend the elbows in toward the body. Good. Again, as you inhale, think of widening the back. As you exhale, relax down. Great. Now let's walk the hands back under the shoulders and we'll shift to the back leg, recenter that front foot and step forward into forward fold. Relax down over the legs. Relax the arms and neck, just let the body hang. Great, now let's bend the knees and we'll slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Roll the shoulders down and back, reach the arms out to the sides and overhead. Maybe that bend on top of the spine. And we'll release down through prayer. And release the arms, great. Now let's come to a wide-legged stance. So stepping the feet wide on your mat here, we're sitting up nice and tall, shoulders down and back, core is strong. I want your toes to be pointed forward or as close as you can get them. If they're slightly turned out to the side, that's fine, as long as they're pointed in the same direction. But we always want to make sure the inside of our knee feels safe, especially. So we're going to start by just standing tall, lacing up the core, and we're going to start with an upper body bend. Reach the arms out to the sides and overhead. Palms can come together, or you can clasp the hands, bend the elbows, and turn the palms toward the sky. You don't have to straighten the arms out all the way, they might be here, and we're looking for a good stretch through the shoulders. We breathe in here, and then exhale and bend to the right side. We're going to hold here for a moment, so if you want to bring the palms together or bring that top hand down to the hip for support, you're more than welcome. I want you to squeeze your belly button toward the spine and contract those abdominal muscles to keep your lower back safe. Good. Now inhale through neutral. Exhale, gently bend to the left. See if you can keep your arms equidistant from the ears, so don't let one come closer than the other. Press the arms back to align with the ears, and you can change your arm or body positioning anytime. Now let's inhale and come up. Exhale, turn the palms forward, and we'll bring those arms down in front. Quick stretch for the traps and shoulders. And then we'll release. Let's bring the hands to the hips now. Take a deep breath in and sit up tall. Exhale, tip from the hip, bringing the hands to the floor or as close as they get. Now here again, I want you to check in with your knees and your hips. Make sure everything feels comfortable for you here. If it does not, you can bend the knees slightly and come up a level or two, bringing the hands to the hips or behind the back. You can reduce the distance between your feet anytime if you need to, and otherwise we're just hanging out. Shift into the heels, lift your tailbone toward the sky. Feel that stretch deepen. Good. Now we're going to walk the hands over toward the right side. And you should feel that stretch deepen in the inside of the right thigh, the outside of the right calf, and that left side body. Now here I'd like you to press the right side of your foot down into the floor and see if you can find that extension from the outside ankle up into the calf. If you'd like to deepen the stretch, again, you can bend the elbows in toward the body. You can increase your angle and even wrap that right hand around the right heel. So again, remember, the goal is never to get as deeply as we can into the stretch. It's just to feel it. You might be all the way up here with the hand on the hip and just angling your shoulders toward that side wall. That's fine too. Good. Breathe deeply. And now we'll walk the hands through neutral over toward the left side. So once again, the same thing. We're just moving slowly with deep breathing and focus, shifting the weight into the heels and lifting our tailbone up toward the sky. You can bend the elbows in toward the body to deepen the stretch or increase the angle of the body toward that left leg. Breathe deeply. Notice where you can relax, maybe through the shoulders, maybe through the jaw. Great, and now we're going to come back to center, bend the knees slightly, and we'll roll back up. Sitting up nice and tall, let's come into our deep adductor stretch now. So again, let's check our foot positioning. Just rock back and forth across the balls of the feet and the heels. It might not be easy, but it should be possible. If it's not, bring your feet a little bit closer together. Take a deep breath in and sit up tall. Exhale, bend the right knee, tipping forward from the hip, and the hand or the elbow can come to the right leg. Good. And now you can, if you'd like, bring the hands down under the shoulders. If they reach the floor, that's fine. If not, that's fine too. And now I'd like you, whatever position you're in, to shift your weight into the heels and lift your tailbone toward the sky. Good. Now, for those of you who are here and would like an intermediate advanced modification, you can walk your hands underneath the shoulders, lining up the heels of your hands with the heels of the feet. This is going to intensify a little bit, and I want you to make sure you can get a straight spine here and lift the tailbone before coming to the next step. Then if you'd like to go further, you can flip that left foot back toward the body and sit down into the right elbow. In this position, make sure your heels are both still down on the floor. We have a tendency to pitch forward and come up onto the toe in order to get into this pose, and that's not what we want. We want to be nice and solid down. So remember too, this is a beginner yoga class. This is an intermediate advanced pose, so you don't have to do it. Come to the modification of your choice always. One more deep breath in. And we'll exhale and straighten out the legs, relax right down the middle just for a moment. Stand. If you're feeling dizzy or nauseated, or if your joints are hurting, remember you can stand up anytime. Bend the knees slightly and we'll roll up. Shoulders down, and let's come along to the other side. So again, adjusting our foot positioning if we need to, standing nice and tall, beginning with the hands on the hips. And then we're going to bend the left knee, tip forward from the hip, and bring the left elbow to the left thigh. So remember, this is our starting point. This might be our ending point too. That's fine. So just make sure that you're not turning your shoulders toward the bent knee, or else you're going to lose the stretch in the inside of that right thigh. Square your shoulders in line with the toes, and if you're able to, bring the fingertips to the floor. Shift into the heels and lift your tailbone toward the sky. And if you'd like, you can angle your shoulders toward the straight leg to deepen the stretch. Good, pressing into the outside of that ankle. Great, and now if you'd like to intensify, you can bring those hands back, lining the heels of the hands up with the heels of the feet. Flip that right foot back towards you and sit down into that left elbow. Now once again, make sure that your form is perfect. Your flexibility and your strength will follow. We always start with perfect form because that's what we're training into our body. So check your shoulders are down away from the ears. We're breathing deeply. We feel strong with the support of our legs or our hands or both. Good. One more deep breath in. Exhale, and we'll straighten out the legs, bringing the soles of the feet to the floor and folding forward, relaxing down. Excellent. Now let's bend the knees and we'll slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Reach the arms out to the sides and overhead, little baby back bend on top. Exhale, release down through prayer and release the arms. Work the heels and toes together. And we'll step the feet together. Let's come to a little bit of balance now. So first, our test of balance. I'd like you to just rock back and forth across the balls of the feet and the heels, settling in the center, nice and evenly on all four corners of the feet. So the inside and outside and the ball of the foot and the heel. Just feel your feet on the floor. We don't do that enough. I'd like you to do that a few times throughout the day. It's called grounding, and it brings us back into the present moment quite quickly. Now we're going to keep those knees soft, tailbone is tucked, core is strong, shoulders down and back, chest proud, neck long, and the chin is tucked. And I'd like you to just find your perfect posture here. Just notice how that feels. Now let's inhale, arms out to the sides and overhead, and we'll come up onto the toes. Focus your gaze on anything that's not moving, and that's going to help you to keep your balance. Arm positioning is up to you. You might want to part the hands, reach out at shoulder height, or bring them to the hips or behind the back. Good, and now we're going to shift to the left foot and raise the right toes. And now shift to the right foot and lift the left toes. Your fingertips can come to a wall, shift and lift, or a piece of furniture, shift and lift. Just training our balance, shift and lift, and one more time, shift, focus, and lift. Excellent, deep breath in, reach for the sky. Exhale, heels to the floor, fold forward, relax down, give the legs a break. And now we'll roll up one vertebrae at a time, shoulders down and back, arms reach out to the sides and overhead. And we'll release down through prayer. And release the arms. Great, so now we're going to come into a little bit of modified single leg balance with our modified crane pose. So you can bring your back up against a wall anytime if that's more comfortable for you. Just standing tall, feeling the soles of our feet. Let's shift to the left leg and bring that right knee up. We're going to grasp just underneath the knee or underneath the thigh. Now you might notice that when you come here, your shoulders hike up toward the ears and your elbows pop out. So you want to counter that. Shoulders down, elbows in, stand tall, tuck the chin. This is a postural correction pose. So we want to feel those muscles in the back and the backs of the arms working, and there is no tension in your neck and shoulders. Remember, you can bring your back up against a wall anytime. This is also a glute engagement position, so I'd like you to push the sole of your foot into the floor and feel every muscle from your hip down to your heel engaged to support you. One more deep breath in. Exhale, we'll release the leg and work out the ankles. Great job. Now coming along to the other side, standing nice and tall, let's shift to the right leg. Left foot comes into position. We're grasping under the knee or under the thigh or nothing at all, okay? And if you like, you're welcome to rotate that ankle around in a circle if that's what you're feeling, but really prioritize that straight spine, solid supporting leg with those muscles engaged, and the elbows in and shoulders down. Breathe. Good, relax into the stretch as much as you're able. And remember, you can release all or part of any pose anytime. One more deep breath in. Exhale, release the leg, work the ankles out. Great job. So now we're going to come into a couple of sun salutations, and I might offer you a balance option in our second round. So coming to the back of your mat now, let's rock back and forth across the balls of the feet and the heels, and we'll just settle in the center, again nice and evenly on all four corners of the feet. Good, feel your full height here, relax the arms at the sides, and I'd like you to feel just nice and tall and open in the world. Now let's inhale, arms out to the sides and overhead. Exhale and fold forward. We're going to walk the hands out into downward dog to start. So we're going to come into our first sun salutation nice and easy. And of course, there's always lots of modifications for you. So now let's step the right foot forward between the hands. Arms come out to the sides and overhead, or you can use that front knee for leverage and press up. And we settle into Warrior One. Tuck the tailbone, lace up the core, find the strength in your legs, in your shoulders. Good, check your shoulders are relaxed down away from the ears. And you can sink a little deeper if you want more. You can also position those arms wherever is comfortable for you. And of course you can bring that back knee down to the floor anytime as well. Push down into your front heel and breathe deeply. One more deep breath in. Exhale, hands down beside the front foot. We're going to step back into plank pose. So that might mean that you come here into the full plank. That might mean that you bring the back knee to the floor and sit back into table pose, or anything in between. You can be on plank on the knees if that's more comfortable for you. And we're just holding here, sucking the belly button toward the spine, pushing the hands into the floor. Make sure you do not drop the hips or the head. If you do and you can't help it, reduce your intensity until you can find your straight spine. Now let's take a deep breath in and bring the knees to the floor, and and we're gonna bring in our baby crocodile. Elbows tuck in toward the body. You can lift the knees now if you're feeling strong enough, and we slowly lower toward the floor. Good. And press up into your modification of cobra. So you can bring the elbows to the floor under the shoulders for Sphinx pose. You can lay all the way down if that's too much of a bend for your lower back, or you can come into cobra with me. So in cobra, the hands are under the shoulders, but we are not pushing into the floor. All of our leverage comes from the muscles of the back and the lower body. So I'd like you to turn your heels in, engage the glutes, keep your toes on the floor. This is really an endurance and strength training position. Shoulders down, spread your fingers wide, and then just very gently pull the mat back. You should always be able to lift your hands up off the floor without changing the position of your body. Good. Now let's curl the toes under as we inhale. Exhale, lift the hips up toward the sky for downward dog. Gently press the heels toward the floor one at a time, or roll around on the balls of the feet. Relax down into the stretch. Now let's inhale the left foot forward between the hands. You can use the front knee for leverage or reach the arms out to the sides and overhead. And we'll settle right down into warrior one on the other side. So remember, the shoulders are always down away from the ears. Tailbone is tucked, so don't let it pop out. We don't want to loosen up those abs and find our spinal arch. You can part the hands, you can bring the hands out at shoulder height or across the chest or to the hips or behind the back anytime. The back knee can come down anytime, or you can just drive into your front heel and sink a little deeper if you want a little more. Breathe, smile. One more deep breath in. Exhale, hands down beside the front foot, and we'll step forward into forward fold. Relax down. Relax the arms and neck, let the body hang. Good. Now let's bend the knees and just roll up one vertebrae at a time. Shoulders down and back, arms reach out to the sides and overhead, baby back bend. And release into prayer. Now we're going to come into one more sun salutation with intensity modification. So I'll invite you to work a little harder if you'd like, or come back to any of the modifications we've done so far. Let's inhale and reach up. Exhale, fold forward halfway. Hold here. Take your knees off lock. Push into the outsides of the feet. You can part the hands to shoulder width if that's comfortable for you. Suck your belly button toward the spine. Feel the back muscles working. Now inhale, lift the arms up just a little higher. Exhale and fold forward. Relax down over the legs. Shift into the heels, lift your tailbone toward the sky. And breathe. Good. Now let's inhale the right leg back. Arms come out to the sides and overhead. And we'll settle into warrior one. Now you can stay here, or you can come with me for the balancing warrior, finding your gaze just ahead of your mat, fixing it on the floor, and then we'll shift forward onto the front leg, tip forward from the hip, part the hands to shoulder width, or reach out to the sides, or back alongside the body, or just place them on your lower back. Here, I'd like you to see if you can square your hips toward the floor rather than letting them open out to the side, and lift your back heel a little higher. Your toe might still be on the floor. That's fine. Find the support in that pillar leg. Good. Now inhale, bend the front knee. We'll gently place those toes back down on the floor and settle into warrior one. So in Kripalu Yoga, the back foot is always pointed forward in our warrior one pose. Other styles of yoga may advise you to turn the back foot to the side. That doesn't make it wrong, but it does twist our lower joints and removes the stretch. So for our purposes, please make sure your back foot is pointed forward if you're able. One more deep breath in. Exhale, hands down to either side of the front foot, and we'll step back into plank pose. Once again, knees or toes or table pose is always fine too. Suck your belly button toward the spine. You can release into child's pose anytime too. It's all yours. Breathe. Good. One more deep breath in. And now exhale down through baby crocodile. Knees can come to the floor anytime. Don't let your hips or your head drop or the elbows pop out. Lower all the way to the floor, and then we're going to press up into your modification of cobra. or into Sphinx. Or this time, if you'd like a really deep lower back stretch, you can come into upward dog. So you're going to come back into plank. And then as you exhale, gently drop the hips toward the floor. Your knees might come down, tops of the feet might be on the floor. Key point here is that I want you to contract the lower abdominal muscles to keep your lower back safe and bring the bend into the middle and upper back. I would advise against pressing up into upward dog from the floor because there's much higher potential injury for the lower back. Widen the shoulders, lengthen up and breathe. Good. Now let's inhale and curl the toes under, lift the hips toward the sky for downward dog. Press the heels toward the floor one at a time, or roll around on the balls of the feet. Shoulders are way down, away from the ears. Now let's inhale the right foot forward between the hands, arms come out to the sides and overhead, and we'll settle into warrior one on the other side. Tuck the tailbone, lace up the core, shoulders relax way down away from your ears. Good. Notice where else you can relax, maybe through the jaw, maybe around the eyes. And smiling is going to naturally cause your body to relax, whether or not you mean it. Your brain doesn't know the difference. So do smile throughout class, and that is going to help your flexibility in the longer term. Good. Now when you're ready, if you'd like to come into the balancing warrior, find your gaze on the floor just ahead of your mat. Shift to the front leg. You can part the hands or bring them out to the sides or to the hips or behind the back. And we tip forward, lifting up the back leg. Good. Feel the strength in your supporting leg. Lift your back heel higher if you're able. Make sure your core is strong and you're not hyperextending the lower back. Good. Nice deep breaths. Relax into that stretch. And now let's bend the front knee and we'll gently place those toes back down on the floor, pointing forward. Reach up and settle back down into warrior one. Tuck the tailbone, push down into your front heel. Notice where you can relax. Good. One more deep breath in. Exhale, hands down to either side of the front foot. Step forward into forward fold. Just relax down. Grab a quick release here. And we'll roll up one vertebrae at a time. Roll the shoulders down and back. Arms reach out to the sides and overhead. Baby back bend. Release down through prayer. And release the arms. Great job. Now let's come to the back of our mat. We're going to make our way down onto the floor. You can grab a drink of water anytime you need one. Good. And again, we're going to stand nice and tall. Finding the soles of our feet. Shoulders down and back, chest proud, neck long, chin tucked. Inhale, arms out to the sides and overhead. Exhale, fold forward, relax down, and just walk out into downward dog when you feel ready. Press the heels toward the floor. We're never forcing them all the way down. They don't have to get there today or ever. Good. One more deep breath in. Exhale, knees to the floor, and we'll sit back into child's pose. So you can stay here in child's pose or come with me for dolphin. So from child, I'd like you to just shift into table pose with the elbows directly under the shoulders. And if possible, we'd like our shoulder, elbow, and wrist to all be lined up on a straight plane. Now when you're ready, we'll curl the toes under and lift the hips up toward the sky. So you should notice the difference in this pose being that it targets quite a bit more between the shoulder blades and through the upper back. Make sure there is no pain in your shoulder. We never want to compromise the rotator cuff. Your legs do not have to be perfectly straight. They might be bent with the heels just barely above the floor, and that's a great place to start as long as you keep the spine long and straight and the shoulders down, whatever it is you're doing. Good. One more deep breath in. Exhale, knees to floor, sit back, child's pose. You can again reach those arms out in front, bring them back by your sides, rest the forehead on the fists or on the forearms if you'd like. If you're reaching the arms out in front, you can turn the palms toward the sky and gently push the elbows into the floor, drawing them back towards you to deepen the stretch between the shoulder blades. You can also play with your head positioning so the chin can come toward the chest. You can arch the neck up toward the sky. You can move side to side. whatever you feel your body needs today. Good, now palms to floor. We'll sit up, turn around, sit down on the mat, and let's come down onto our backs with the knees into the chest. Good, my goodness guys, we've only got about 5 minutes left of class, so we're going to come into final relaxation pretty quickly here. Let's just roll the knees around in a circle first. And I'd like us to finish with a good hip stretch. So our modified figure 4 now. Soles of the feet come down to the floor. Just make sure that they're the same distance from your body. They don't necessarily have to be close or far away. They're just the same distance away from you. And knees are pointed toward the sky. Now let's bring that right knee to the chest and cross that shin over the left thigh. You can grasp the right shin just below the knee and above the ankle, and then we're just going to draw that leg in toward the body. Now, we're all going to start here to make sure that we're exhibiting perfect form, which means our shoulders are down away from the ears, the elbows are tucked into the body, and the head is resting comfortably on the floor. So if you find yourself tensing up in order to stay here, make sure you find a position where especially your upper body can relax. If you'd like to take this a step further, release the hands, loop the right hand through the legs, and grasp the outside of the left thigh. Now here again, I'd like you to make sure you can comfortably rest your head and shoulders on the floor. If you have to be tense through the neck and shoulders to get into this position, it's too deep of a pose, and I'd like you to decrease your intensity. If you'd like even more than this, you can extend the left leg toward the sky, and you can even use that right elbow to press the right knee out to the side very gently and slowly with deep breathing. Good. Check in that the shoulders are down and back away from you. You should be able to feel your shoulder blades and the back of your head resting down on the mat. You can rock from side to side if you want to. One more deep breath in. Exhale, release the leg, release the arms, and we'll extend the arms out all the way, reaching through the fingertips and toes. Lengthen. This straight plane of motion helps us reset the joints, and then we'll bring those feet back in, placing the soles of the feet on the floor, and come to the other side. Bring that left shin across the right thigh. We'll grasp the shin just below the knee and above the ankle, and gently draw the leg in. Good. So again, just be mindful of how that knee feels. This is a big twist for that left knee, so if that's not okay for you, you can reduce the twist, just drawing that knee straight in. You can even extend that right leg out and look for a different stretch where it's not going to compromise your joints. Good. Relax through the neck and shoulders. Feel the body resting on the floor. And then when you're ready, you can loop that left hand through the legs, grasping the outside of the right thigh. Making sure the first thing you do once you get there is relax the head and shoulders down onto the floor so you can get your shoulder blades all the way down. And again, remember, head and shoulders are on the floor, but if you're here and you're arching the back and tensing up to try and get the head to the floor, you're going to cause yourself some problems through the neck. So remember to reduce intensity anytime. You can also extend that right leg toward the sky and press the left elbow into the left knee to deepen the stretch on that side. Remember too, you've probably noticed by now that one side of the body is usually more flexible and has better balance than the other, and that's okay. We're just looking to even things out as much as we can, not force any one side to be just as good as the other. And now we're going to release the leg, release the arms, reach out through the fingertips and toes, lengthening, extending, breathing deep. And now let's exhale the knees to the chest and the forehead toward the knees. Good, squeeze in. And again, breathe in, reach out and expand, lengthening through the fingertips and toes. Exhale, bring it in. Good. One last time, breathe in deep, reach out, take up lots of space and smile. Exhale and bring it in. Great. Now we're going to come into our final relaxation. So I'd like you to find your comfortable seated or laying down position. And some socks or a blanket or a sweater or whatever you need to stay warm, because we will cool down now that we're no longer moving. Good. And because we're almost out of time here, instead of doing our standard practice, we're just going to come through a little bit of focus and gratitude to finish off. So I'd like you to just begin by taking a deep breath in all the way down to the tips of the toes and closing the eyes. And exhale completely. Feeling the body relax down into the mat, into the earth. And now, just for a moment, I'd like you to bring your attention to today's class. And the first thing we're going to do is give ourselves a mental pat on the back for making it here, for making it through, and especially for maintaining those lines of communication with the body. And now with our attention on the breathing, I'd like you to inhale deeply into the rib cage, expanding the belly. And exhale, pressing all of the air out of the body, using the stomach muscles. And now as you breathe in, imagine inhaling white light, nice and bright and fresh, all the way to the lines of your body, filling the inside of the body. And as you exhale, feel the body relax. Press out any tension that might still be left there. Good, and now just relaxing the breath, but still focusing on the breathing. Breathing deeply into the rib cage and the belly. Relaxing as you exhale. And just imagining the entire inside of the body being filled with that clear, fresh white light. And now I'd like you to bring to mind just 3 things that you like or love or appreciate. Anything at all. And I'd like you to just invite those things into that space inside the body, near your heart, within that flood of bright white light. And just offering that appreciation to those things that make you smile easily, that bring you a little bit of joy, anything at all. And just notice that feeling of gratitude in the body, how it helps you relax, maybe smile a little more easily. Feel your brain, your mind relax as you consider these things you enjoy. And now I'd like you to offer that same gratitude to yourself for everything that you do for yourself and the world around you, coming to this class today to make yourself a more solid, grounded person, more peaceful, and able to offer joy to others more easily as you walk in the world. Just pat yourself on the back and find that appreciation for yourself. And now we'll bring our attention back to the lines of the body, wiggling the fingers and toes, keeping the eyes closed, and just noticing as we move how it feels to move in the world, being filled with that sense of appreciation and gratitude for ourselves and the things around us. And now when you're ready, you can gently bring the knees into the chest. You can rock from side to side. Just take a moment, waking up the body. And now we'll roll over onto our right side and find our way to a comfortable seated position. Keeping the eyes closed as you move. Great. And now let's take a deep breath in. Exhale and open the eyes. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I do encourage you to try that gratitude practice a few times throughout the day. I know we ran late, but thank you so much for sticking around if you were able, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day with that beautiful sunshine. See you next time.